Welcome to possibly the strangest winter Canada has ever seen. It's the middle of January and we're just seeing our first snowfall and cold, but cold is officially here. I think it's minus 18 right now. And I've done some huge changes and upgrades to the heat system, so we need another day of real systems testing, hopefully in a beautiful place. Everybody seems to like a diesel engine cold start, so I'm going to include it. This truck is computer deleted completely, so my heat grid is on a push button. Let's give her a whirl. Oh yeah, she loves it. See if she'll idle. Got this pretty awesome high idle stick. It's just a tripod leg that I extend. There we go, we're warming up. Before we go out exploring, let's pull into the shop so I can show you guys how I think I've officially winter-proofed the rig. I'm gonna run you guys through my complete heat system inside and outside the rig. First of all, I do have the stock furnace, which works great. I just really don't like propane. It's thermostatically controlled, which is really nice. I really wanted to go diesel air heaters for my primary heat system, and one of the big upgrades, I did put one underneath the table here. And then this I can turn back and forth. Works really good. My controller for it is right there. A fan told me that this current diesel air heater I have has an alpine mode, so it runs the pump even slower. And woke up in here, it was a little bit chilly this morning. Once I got up and moving, warmed up right away. But so far on alpine mode, that seems to keep it plenty warm. The biggest challenge has been my tanks compartment, especially because my water lines run along the bottom here, so I've had to do a ton of work inside this. Let's start from inside the pass-through. So first you'll notice I've insulated my battery, and I also bought on Amazon a heat pad that is marketed for the RV tanks. You stick it on the bottom and it keeps your tank from freezing. It has a thermostat within it that turns it on at +5. So I wrap that around the battery and then insulate it, and that's on this switch right here, or this switch right here. I also, for my battery system, huge thank you to all of the commenters that educated me on this lithium phosphate battery system. I knew nothing about that when I installed it. Had to make a bunch of changes. First of all, I put in a shunt. This is so I can monitor my battery level. And that has been super awesome, because this 400 amp hour battery, it'll power a lot, but it's important to know what my percentage is at. And with lithium phosphate, your voltage is not a good representation of your percentage. So I swapped out a whole new diesel air heater. I was having some issues with the last one. It's on level 3 right now. I put on a piece on the end. I had to special order. It has 4 outlets instead of 1. So I have 2 of them that are just blowing inside this compartment. And then the other 2 go underneath. So this has been a whole lot of trial and error with heavy focus on error, unfortunately. But this is my tube coming down. It's all nicely insulated. And rendition number 1, we just had the tube going back to the compartments back here, and it didn't have enough pressure to blow the hot air all the way. So on Amazon I found this little 1.5 inch vent fan, and I wired that in to the other switch. This switch, I have to build some labels for them. Yeah, that turns on my little fan back there, and that blows a ton of really hot air right back into my compartment. I did some systems testing a couple nights ago. It was only -6 at night and my water lines were still freezing. So I pulled this entire panel off the bottom and discovered I had a water leak as well as a gray tank leak. So both of those had to get fixed. And now we're at 12 degrees inside here. I redid my insulation down below, the foam insulation all the way across the bottom, and then the insulation back there. This whole compartment is just basically full of insulation with some room for air to move around. And then I also put pipe insulation on my lines going across. Woke up this morning and pipes were still not frozen, so things are looking really good. And another big plus is the whole floor from here back, including the shower stall, gets completely warm to the touch, which is so nice. And I found that that's actually adding a tremendous amount of heat inside the rig. So last night I ran the heater up front on number 2, the heater inside on lowest setting alpine mode, and it was plenty warm when I went to bed. Might bump it up a little bit tonight because it's supposed to get to, I think, -25 tonight, but I think the rig can handle it. So let's get on the road and find somewhere to park and set up camp. So I think the plan is to head east up towards the mountains. So tonight we'll probably be seeing temperatures close to -30, which is pretty extreme testing. I think this is the most extreme weather we'll put ourselves out in this winter. But I do want to make sure that the truck can handle it, because the coming years, I don't know what's in store for me. So if I can get this thing completely winter ready, I'm talking onboard water, food, completely livable, it opens a lot of doors for where we can go. This battery I have, it's good. I can use it up to -45 degrees Celsius, but it cannot take a charge below 0. These panels are pulling in 4.5 amps right now, so it's unfortunate to have to unplug them. That's some good power that I could be utilizing. I'll tell you, building a rig that can handle the cold parked is one thing. Being able to drive is another thing. I just went in the store and it's -22.5 right now. And then you can add a 100-kilometer wind chill to that when I'm driving. Final drop down into Likely. Just beautiful out here. Well, that's the last bit of civilization we're gonna see on this trip. This road I'm on right now, it's in decent shape. This goes to a mountain called Yanks Peak. Great place for sledding, so it should be plowed, I think, all the way to that parking lot. I think I'll turn off and head towards the other side of Caribou Lake, find a nice spot to park in there. I don't think it'll be plowed on that side, but we don't have to get far in. Just beautiful back here. Nice to finally see some winter. Arriving to where I think we're gonna camp tonight. I don't know why it's plowed this far. I'm the only tracks going through here. We're gonna take a walk down to the lake, see if it's worth the risk down there. It's a bit of a steep drop. Just beautiful out here. It's a nice big spot down here. Somebody else got down, stayed there for a day of ice fishing, I think. My concern is there's all this loose snow on top, which is great, but there's close to a foot of really compact. My truck being so heavy, I'm concerned I'm just gonna sink through that, get stuck down in here. Whew. Chilly. So this will be camp for the night, kind of just up here on this point. It's not too bad, maybe minus 22 or 23 right now. Gonna get the generator out and get everything set up. Welcome to Mikasa, everybody. Poured myself a nice hot tea because whatever sickness I got like 3 weeks ago, it's still quite strong. Don't know what's going around right now. Camp is set up. Everything is working really good so far. A little bit warmer here than I thought. Minus 19.5 when I parked. The generator's going to charge the batteries before bed. The tanks compartment is at plus 12 after that drive. And no frozen pipes, so I think that's going to be 100% success. The rig right now is at plus 18, which is nice and comfortable. Could be even warmer. That heater's only on number 2. The pass-through heater is on number 2 as well. To celebrate our success, I'm making a nice dinner tonight. I'm talking steaks, I'm talking prawns, I'm talking some other things too. It's gonna be great. Boiling up some water for them prawns. May as well get going on the sides. A couple of these things are ancient family recipes, dating back to when my great-great-great-grandfather came over on the Mayflower. Boxed Caesar salad. See, here's the thing about a boxed Caesar salad that they don't tell you. Comes with everything you need except for dressing. Anyways, Caesar salad. Ooh, that water be boiling. pretty important step that most people miss when they're making seafood, and that is, of course, sea salt. If you're making seafood and you don't put in sea salt, you may as well not be making seafood. Kind of touched on this a little bit when we got Wagyu in Japan. I've never really been much of a steak guy. It comes from growing up where we were raising and butchering our own cattle. And when you have steaks that good, it's hard to find something comparable in the store, unless you want to spend like 60 bucks a steak. This stove is quite a bit better than the one I had in the motorhome, but it's difficult to cook a steak in these rigs because you just don't get that much heat out of these little propane stoves. These prawns are looking next level tasty. I mean, they're basically lobsters. A little bit of vegetables in there. Got some of that Montana's steak spice. A little bit of pep, a little bit of salt. Tell you a little something about cooking on YouTube. Presentation's everything. It doesn't really matter what it tastes like. Holy smokes, you guys. Look at me out here. Just thriving. Except for that Caesar salad dressing. Current temperature outside, negative 21 Celsius. Current temperature in the rig, after cooking, 19 degrees Celsius. This steak is surprisingly good for a store-bought. We'll do one more look at all the systems before bed. Things are looking pretty good. Literally, just to avoid copyright issues, I have Destination Adventure on in the background. But one of my upgrades I did to the rig was installing a smart TV, which has been a life changer. This is the first time I've had television in 7 years. Would you take a look at the size of this friggin' prawn? Life is good. I wanted the battery to be at 100%, so I let the generator run for quite a while tonight. It's 9:30 at night, current temperature minus 22. I'm gonna go shut everything off out here and check the temps. Oh, and it's snowing. Temperature in the tanks compartment, plus 12. Really good news. Temperature in the pass-through, plus 12. Really good. Battery's at 100%. It's still taking 6 amps. So my app might not be set 100% correct, but it's very close. I know I zeroed everything out, so I'll put the generator away. I don't want to call it an issue, but the other factor to all of this is, of course, diesel consumption in the heaters. I haven't really solved my tiny little tank problem yet, but I've solved the filling it problem. I have just this little battery powered pump. Pumps all kinds of fuel, so I carry, where the outboard usually is, this 20 liters of diesel. So I'll fill this up completely tonight so we can see exactly how much we use by morning. I'm happy with the temperature in the pass-through, so I'm leaving that heater on level 2. The temperature in here has been nice, so this will stay on number 2 overnight. See you in the morning. Well, good morning, everybody, and a brisk one at that. Woke up to minus 30 with a wind chill of minus 38. It's warmed up to a very comfortable minus 29 now. And unfortunately, I think we have found the threshold of the rig. I was up early and did all my checks, and I left the heaters on number 2 overnight, both of them. I should have bumped it up to number 3 or even maybe number 4, because the battery only used 6% overnight. The diesel for the heaters was still above half. So I have a lot more room there to play with. The pass-through and tanks were at 3 degrees this morning. I've got them up to 12 degrees again now. Inside the rig was 7 degrees this morning. Now we're up to 18 degrees. I bumped it up to number 4 on the heater. Unfortunately, the pipes did freeze. I'm very surprised. They didn't freeze in the back where they normally do. They seem to be frozen somewhere between the pump and this faucet. Haven't seen that issue before, but this is also pretty extreme testing. I don't think there's going to be many situations where we're going to be out for multiple days in -30, and it seemed like -25 and warmer, the rig was holding up without any issues. So I think that's kind of where our threshold is at. Nevertheless, I have the generator running right now with the block heater plugged in. So I'm a little bit concerned about the truck, but it's time to fire it up and get this baby back in the shop. I'm gonna cycle the heat grid for probably about a minute. Let's give her a whirl. Wow, that was so easy. I cannot believe how easy that started today. That block heater is a massive help for this. So the block heater pulls 700 watts, if you're wondering about how to power it with a generator. I didn't know if 2 hours would be enough. It was obviously more than enough. The truck started like summertime. I mean, it's still pretty chilly out here, but we'll make her home anyways. Well, I was bummed to wake up to frozen pipes, but all in all, I think I consider these upgrades a success. We were able to get the rig from freezing at about -5 to somewhere around -25, and that's going to be more than enough for what we need anyways. I hope everyone's surviving this winter cold storm, and most of all, thanks for watching, everybody. As always, take nothing but pictures, leave nothing but footprints, and I'll catch you on the next one.